Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are for Scales Part 2. I'm keeping these short because I believe there's still a 10-minute limit on YouTube videos, and I'm probably going to be posting these on YouTube for this semester at least. We may redo them in future semesters, but that won't affect this class. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to email me. We will be starting a discussion board about these lessons also, and look at the checklist under the lesson assignment, and you'll find a checklist for what I'm expecting you to do on that lesson board, on the discussion board. But if you have any questions, put them on the discussion board or email me directly, and I will get them out to, I'll answer your question, and then I will share it with the rest of the class. So let's look at some other scales that we run into. Major and minor are the most common scales in our culture, but we have some others that we use as well. For instance, the chromatic scale. If I use all the white keys, and wherever I have a black key in between two white keys, I fill in the black key, then I am playing all of the notes. It plays all of the notes on the keyboard, or all the notes that we use in Western classical music, and we call this the chromatic scale. The way we talk about this is every note to the right makes a half step. All of these are half steps that I'm playing. Here we don't have a black key in between, so from this note to this note is also a half step, half step, half step. And the chromatic scale is actually playing all of the half steps, left to right or right to left. When we played the major scale, we might notice that we skipped some of these half steps. So we combined the first two. Instead of playing a half step to there, for the C scale, we started on C, then we went to D. That's a whole step. So we have whole step, another whole step, a half step, a whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And the sequence of intervals that you need to get a major scale are whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now as long as you do that, whole, start on C, whole, half, whole, half. As long as you do that same series of whole steps and half steps, you can start on any note on the keyboard. For instance, here, this is A flat. I can go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, and I will have, instead of a C scale, I have the same major scale sound, but it started on A flat. And I can start, that will start on any note. Here's E flat. These scales are the whole reason that we have scales for players. The reason that players practice scales is that we need to know if I'm in the key of E flat, then the notes that I'm going to be playing are those E flat scale notes. And the E flat scale notes are a certain series of black and white keys. I need to know that pattern if I'm going to play in the key of E flat. And if I'm a piano player, which I'm actually not, but I can fake it a little bit, the piano has a certain series of fingers that I use in order to play this. In order to play this scale smoothly and correctly, and not to get my fingers, for instance, if I tried to put my thumb on this key, I'm here on my ring finger. If I try to get my thumb up there, that's a very awkward way to get from here, from this note up to that note. It's very awkward. So I need to practice ways that I know to get to that note consistently. When I'm practicing my scales, I'm making all those patterns of fingerings and pushing and pulling from black to white. I'm making them all smoother and more comfortable, so that when I run into it, in a piece of music, like right here, we can see there's a scale going from bottom all the way up to top. That is what a scale looks like on the staff. Low goes all the way up to high. And I need to know what series of fingers I can play that will run that smoothly from the D that one started on. Here's D. Here, I'll play that scale for you. That was that scale. I need to know that I have to cross some of my thumb. I don't have this many fingers to just play, 30 notes left to right. I have to reposition my hand, so I have to play in one position. And then I have to be able to reposition, because I practice my scales. I know that I can quickly move from one position to another because I have practiced my scales, and I've done that a million times. As I say, this isn't my primary instrument, so a real pianist would look much more smooth with this than I do. And I will take you in a few minutes and I'll show you, I'll play some of these scales for you on my instrument so you can see what it looks like on a different instrument. So we have chromatic scale, we have major scale and minor scale. Remember, the chromatic one was the one that used all of the keys. All of them, even the ones in between the white keys, going up